Hello everybody and welcome back to Endeavor Gaming's Yard 28. Today we are going to be taking a look at the new Klingon D7 Battlecruiser, the latest legendary ship to grace this game. So let's just go on ahead and get into it. So, like I said, today marks the release of the newest legendary ship, this D7. And today we're going to be putting a build on it and doing some talking about it. So first off, let's bring up some of the basic specs about this ship here. The Legendary D7 Intel Battlecruiser. So for those of you that haven't read up on it yet, 4 weapons, we have 5, 3 aft weapons, 3 device slot standard, although I already have mine upgraded to T6X, giving me 4. We have 4 engineering consoles, 3 science consoles, and 4 tactical consoles. So we're going to go ahead and put together a version of my Inquiry's Beam Overload build and see how this ship does. Right now, what is most important to me is finding out the overall longevity and usefulness of this ship. For those of you that also haven't seen the seating of it, it is very similar to the Inquiry. The only real big change is that the Intel and Miracle Worker specializations have been flipped. So now you have Intel primary and Miracle Worker secondary. So you're giving up that extra console slot and your Miracle Worker effects, but Intel is a very useful spec to have, and we're going to be trying some stuff out. Not to mention that it feeds directly into the trait that comes off of this ship. We not revenge. When activating any hull heal or Intel Bridge Officer ability, apply Revenge to self for 20 seconds or increase stack size by 1. And while Revenge is active, it'll reflect anywhere between 5 and 50% of incoming energy weapon damage as disruptor damage. That is crazy, and I can't wait to get this ship leveled and see how it does. So, without further ado, let's start putting this ship together. As always, we're going to start out with the Dark Matter Quantum Torpedo up here. Very solid weapon. We're going to get our wide angle phaser on here, and eventually I will probably switch to disruptor weapons, but for sanity's sake, let's just throw on the phaser stuff that we already have. And we've got 3 sensor link beam arrays. For the deflector, we're going to use the tried and true Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector Array. For the impulse, we're going to throw on the prevailing innervated engines for that extra boost to flight speed and turn rate when activating firing bridge officer abilities. And for the warp core, I always go back and forth between the Mycelial Harmonic and the Revolutionary. I think for this one, we're going to go ahead and go with the Revolutionary. So we can also get this 2-piece put together with the Revolutionary Shield. For our aft weapons, we're going to throw on our sensor-linked Omni. We're going to throw on our advanced inhibiting phaser Omni. And we're going to throw on the biomolecular phaser turret. We'll get back to devices in a minute. Let's see. For the consoles, one important thing is that we want to have that 2-piece set for the biomolecular for that Cat 2 bonus to phaser damage. So let's see if we can find that in our list of consoles here. Here it is, the hydrodynamics compensator. Let's see, we're not going to use this console on here. And to round out our engineering, let's just throw on all of the things that we know we're going to need. So let's throw on the swarm processor. We'll throw on binaural infusion circuits, the tachyokinetic converter, and the assimilated module. Boom, easy as pie. Here, a good one to always put in is going to be Domino. Always a console I like to go for in builds. And we should finish up that Gamma 2-piece set by throwing on the Ordnance Accelerator. For tactical, obviously, we've got to have Lorca's console. Can't do much without it. Let's throw on a locator and check our stats real quick. That could definitely be better. Let's see. Do we have anything else that might help us out with crit chance? For right now, I'd say let's just throw on 2 more of these, and we'll see where everything goes once we're buffed up. it's passable for now. In our devices, let's just keep it simple. Let's throw on some energy amplifiers and some deuterium surplus. Let's also throw on the temporal negotiator and the Kobayashi Maru here. And just like that, we have our build put together. I also decided to keep on this ominous device. It seems interesting, and I thought I'd try it out. This is one console I have never tried out, so I'll give it a shot. Let's go ahead and disable all of our visuals here because we don't want them. And let's get this saved as the Intel Miracle Worker Beam Overload build. Boom. So for traits, we're going to stick mostly with what we were already using on the Inquiry. So for space traits, we have a Good Day to Die, Adaptive Offense, context is for kings, Fleet Coordinator, Fragment of AI Tech, Innocuous, Intelligence Agent Attaché, Superior Beam Training, and Terran Targeting Systems. For our Starship traits, we are running Best Hope of the Empire, Good Day to Die, Exitus Acta Probat, Strike from the Shadows, Promise of Ferocity, and Super Weapon Ingenuity. Lastly, for Space Reputation, we're running Tyler's Duality. And I do occasionally run the Aux Power Configuration Offense, but we're going to go ahead and take that one off because we're going to be running OSS. So what I really need in that place is Landry's Loyalty, and you'll see why a little bit later. After that, we're running Magnified Firepower, Precision, and Advanced Targeting Systems. So, now we've got all that together, we can go ahead and check out our DOFs real quick and see that these are also going to stay pretty constant from our previous beam overload builds. We have a projectile weapons officer, which gives us crit chance on firing projectiles. We have an energy weapon officer, which gives us a chance for beam overload to cause all attacks against the target to gain 35% shield penetration. We have a crit severity buff on firing projectiles, and then we have 2 Borg bridge officers. So, 19 of 47 here. On engineering abilities, a 15% chance of setting power levels to maximum for 5 seconds, and Miracle Worker having a 30% chance to improve weapon armor penetration by 20 for 30 seconds. As for 24 of 47, attack abilities has a 15% chance of setting power levels to max, and Miracle Worker has a 30% chance to improve critical chance by 2.5% for 30 seconds. And lastly, to help out with a little bit more of our min-maxing, this duty officer, on activation of energy weapons, have a 5% chance of giving a plus 20 to shield power for 10 seconds. So, that's what we're going to use as far as that. Now, let's get our stations together and see what we're going to use here. Give me a moment to get these pulled up so I know what to get. So, for our Miracle Worker, I do believe we have a Kentari that is currently trained, so we're going to go ahead and put her in this slot. So like I said before, you do give up the ability to have mixed armament synergy and narrow sensor bands 3, which is unfortunate. And it looks like this person doesn't even have mixed armament synergy on them, so that's something that we're going to have to pick up. In the meantime, that's going to go into this third slot. These two, Emergency Powered Weapons and Engineering Team 1, are both going to stay. For this universal slot, we're going to go ahead and put a tactical in. We're going to put our Cardassian in here and give him Chemosite-laced weaponry. For this Lieutenant Commander tac station, we're going to get one of our Romulan SROs right here. And we're going to give him Beam Overload 3, Cannon Scatter Volley, and Torpedo Spread 1. And now for this intel, we are going to get, and let's see who I could put in here. It's got to be engineering, so I guess our Borg Bridge Officer is going to be taking this spot. So, we're gonna do our fun stuff and run 2 intel teams, and in this third slot, once we go and pick it up, we're going to put OSS 3 in here. As for this commander slot, I think we should put on reverse shield polarity 3 for some extra survivability here, and like I said, this will be OSS. Lastly, this last slot is going to go to our oh so fun potato head, and they're going to get hazard emitters and photonic officer. Looks pretty good. Let's take a quick stop over to ESD and get the rest of the bridge officer training manuals we need, and we'll finish this build up. So we need OSS 3, and we need Mixed Armaments Synergy 2. Doesn't sound too bad. Head over here. I totally didn't spell that right. There we go. Override subsystem safeties, and we need 3. And there don't appear to be any. This might be the crafting one, I guess? We'll check back on that in a minute. In any case, we can still find Mixed Armaments Synergy. And we need 2. Now we're going to go back over here. And it was this bridge officer that needed it, and we'll get them trained up. Boom. And trained. Now, we need to find out how to get OSS 3, because that is going to be very important to this build. Let's see. There it is. Alrighty, well, at least it's not that bad. We just need a pad. Easy. Pick up one of those. Craft it. And now we got it. Easy as pie. So it was 8 of 8 that needed that. Skills. Come down here. Override subsystem safeties 3. And train. Now I got them all filled up. Let's beam up and put our bar together. And then we'll get to the real fun stuff. Testing out this build and seeing how good it can perform. Those things don't want to stay disabled. First off, let's clear everything out of here, because we don't want any of this junking up our bar quite yet. Not until we know exactly what we're using. So, always to start up my bar, Photonic Officer. Easy one. And then I like to have all of the buffs that are captain abilities. So, Alpha, Brace for Impact, stuff like that. Domino's a good one to have up front as well. Power up weapons with emergency power to weapons 2. We're going to take this and put this over here, because we're definitely going to need that in combat. Throw on Focused Frenzy. Go down fighting. And here's where we'll start throwing up things like intelligence teams. So we'll start with intelligence team 1 on the rotation, and then intelligence team 2. Have our Chemocyte start our Mixed Armaments Synergy. So this on our clicky bar. This can also go on our clicky bar. And so can this. Tactical Fleet needs to activate, and so does Tactical Initiative. Temporal Negotiator can go on our clicky bar. And this can go on our hot bar. Now for the actual bridge officer stuff that we haven't taken care of yet. Hazard emitters and engineering team, our 2 heals, are going to go on our clicky bar. Then we need our torpedo spread, our cannon scatter volley, and our beam overload to all go on here. Now we're going to go back through and make sure that there's nothing super important that we've missed on our bar before we head into combat. Since we have space, we can go ahead and throw on our Kobayashi Maru resupply on there, so it'll get spawned in pretty quickly. And we'll throw Gather Intel on as well. As well as taking these and making sure we have them somewhere in our bar to get to them a little bit easier there. Make sure that's over there. And just in case we ever need it, Diversionary Tactics. And get our batteries. There's the Deuterium Burn. And where are the energy amplifiers? There they are. And that should be just about all we need. Let's do some balancing of our power levels here. I usually just go for maxing out weapons, and then any power that's left, shunting it straight into the engines. Just like that, we have our engines at 95 out of 70. And our weapons at 125 out of 100. And it looks like we are ready to go. Let's save this loadout. Make sure everything is nice and good here. And now, we're going to take this ship into some combat and see how it does. So, level 1 on Elite difficulty is seeing if we can make it through Wanted in the Argala system. Let's go ahead and go. Let's see what we can do here. First test of this new ship. Let's see if it can deliver on its promises. So begin the weapons find. Definitely melted through that Kazon cruiser without too much of a problem. Boom, alrighty. Got through that, no problem. Let's bring on some more waves.
You have entered an area. Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over here. Their claws might come out of hiding.
Barely even getting shot at. Having those two intel teams thrown up means we're able to shake off a lot of potential aggro. Very useful for patrols like this.
We do what we want, where we want.
And those guys didn't even stand a chance. So, first
Thank you for
test.
your assistance.
For
We've
raw
recently-
damage, the D7
We have
gets a
the suspect in
huge
custody
pass. Now, it's time for our second test. And that's survivability. So for this test, I like to run rescue and search. And that is because there's a lot more spread out and prolonged combat. Plus, those Klingons with intel abilities too, they can hit hard and they can catch you off guard very, very easily. So, this is the next one we're going to head into. And let's see if the D7 can now survive through this TFO.
Good to see you, my friend. As we can ponder. We did it. Klingon vessels are low. Targets changed.
Thank you for coming to our aid. Truly the blessings.
Our systems are coming back online.
Under the circumstances,
If you feel that...
that's one less rift to worry about. Let's regroup with
Bad news, I'm afraid. Klingons are approaching our position.
So, this ship got through that patrol no problem. No problem at all. So, it checks off the box for survivability as well. Overall, after flying this ship, I have to say this might be one of the best legendary ships we've gotten so far. And it's a ship where there's so much you can do with it, not to mention that you have the benefit of knowing it's an account unlock ship. So on an account that, say, already has unlocked this advanced inhibiting Omni, and you've got some fleet gear and a little bit of lobby gear, you can put this ship on as many tunes as you want. And you can even do without some of these things that are more expensive to get on multiple tunes and be just fine. I didn't even throw on DPRM on this ship. So, I guess the final verdict is D7, absolutely awesome ship, and can't wait to see what all of you guys do with it in the future. We're going to go ahead and check out now. I thank everybody for watching the video, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube and check out my Twitch channel. As always, this has been Endeavor Gaming, and remember to keep calm and game on.